You're basically counterfeiting your own product. Has the quality of clothing gone down? Welcome back. What do you guys got for me this week? Denim, okay. 505, 505, 505. What's going on?
So these are 4 different pairs of Levi's, 4 different prices.
What's this?
That is Levi's Selvedge, the kind that you'll get at their retail stores.
Okay, this one is?
Standard outlet Levi's, so we got that at Mark's, but that's like what you find at the department store.
Okay, this one? It feels used.
Yeah, they're pre-owned officially through them.
Okay, and this is?
From Costco.
Oh yes, very much Costco. We all have 505s here. There's a reason why this one is 514.
Because that's what Costco had.
Okay, it's like, kind of like when you buy mattresses and they're very specific to the store and you can't price shop. Okay, so let's open these up and take a look at them first. This is stretch denim. I'm gonna assume this is probably made in Bangladesh. Yes. This one was made in Lesotho. Is this vintage? Like this is not, clearly not like...
No, it's 2017. Secondhand is what they call it. Basically, you can go in, give them an old pair of jeans, they'll give you, I think, $5, and then resell it for 36.
So Levi's has turned into the denim GameStop. These are made in Bangladesh and these are Pakistan. Obviously these ones have a leather patch here, debossed, a little signifier of their higher quality line. The other ones here are printed. Pocket design is very iconic. They have bar tacked all of these except for the Selvedge denim. Open these up here. So when you look at this one here, the color choice obviously has not been washed as much as these ones to give it that character. You can see there is some color transfer here on the label. That could have been from packaging as well, but you'll also see it on the inside. If you do wash these will give off a lot of color, so just keep that in mind. The ornamental lines overlap by decorative metal circle, which Lululemon claims is theirs. Very clearly present on all these. The rivets here are there to reinforce the seams because the fabric itself is not gonna have a lot of stretch. So whenever you're putting your hand in the pocket, if you don't have these rivets, you're putting a lot of pressure just on one thread over here. So we do have different trims here. They're trims from the button and the rivets are the same metal. And it's very clear, the fonts here. So the tooling's still in really good shape. I'd imagine as we go to something that's a little more high volume, you'll see here that it's not as crisp. Usually when you're making dyes and molds and stuff like that, they're rated to X amount of hits. On a piece like this, you're gonna notice that it's gonna be a little softer just because you're gonna be working within that tolerance, whereas their Selvedge one, you're probably not even getting close to the lifespan of the tool. So one thing you'll notice across all of these, which will be a part of Levi's design, is going to be their bar tacks, which are gonna be functional because they are supporting the zippers. But you'll notice that on the Selvedge, it is not present for this side, but you are sacrificing a little bit of that durability on the inside. 3 different zipper manufacturers here. All these zippers are gonna perform a little bit different just because of the little nuances between the suppliers. You can see over here, this zipper puller, it's slightly smaller than this zipper puller. And then even on this one, you'll see the Costco one over here is a little shorter, a little stubbier compared to this one. Pockets are all same in terms of the trims. You'll notice the back yoke's present. This tab on the Selvedge is missing the Levi's, it's just the R. But let's flip these inside out because a lot of what makes this one special to denim enthusiasts is the fact that it is Selvedge. This is what you're basically paying for Selvedge. These are the ends of the fabric roll, essentially. By having this Selvedge, you're not gonna have an edge that will fray. You'll notice the inseam is not a double fold over compared to the rest of them. This is obviously for somebody who wants a little bit more of a nuanced pair of denim. Functionally, is having a Selvedge edge going to improve the product? Not really. It's really more about character. And that's why a lot of people who wear Selvedge will fold up their denim so that you can see that edge on the outside. When we look at the Costco variant, I think for the price point, what, 20 bucks, 20 something bucks you said?
28.
I think you're getting very close to the same value you are for a regular retail. But what's gonna be very interesting is comparing these two, because these two really should be kind of direct copies of each other. So the question is, has the quality of clothing gone down? Mind you, this is still only from 2017, so we're looking at only 8 years difference between these two. They've clearly followed the same construction techniques. The thread is the same. A lot of dye transfer on this one. Obviously, these are made in 2 different continents. I have noticed that the front rise is shorter on these, on the 2017 pair, 8.25, 9, so 3/4 of an inch. If we look at the back rise, let's see if that's gonna be the same. 13, 13.25. So if you buy these and you've been used to wearing these will fit a little bit baggier in terms of the crotch. Levi's is obviously a big enough company that they can run this program in different regions. This is why you'll always hear with brands like, oh, the product quality is declining, because a lot of brands will try to move a program they've been running in a specific region for a really long time into another region. And whenever you're doing that, you're basically counterfeiting your own product. Now let's take these to the lab and test them. So what we've done is we put these through washes. And I know somebody was going to be screaming, you should never wash your denim, but a lot of people do. And the team washed each one of these on its own. You can see not too much color has bled off on the Costco variant. The secondhand one did bleed off a little bit of color onto this because it's lost its natural color of cotton, and the blue will neutralize that beige a little bit. The standard Mark's Work Warehouse variant bled a lot of that dye, and we knew that was going to happen just because of how deep the color on these were. If you're going to be washing these, just be very mindful. They will dye any other garments that are in the wash with it. And then we have the Selvedge itself, similar to the Costco variant, where we had some color neutralization. However, it did not turn it blue. Next up for the shrinkage results, let's look at the Costco first. To be expected for denim like that. Next is look at the secondhand pair. This might have been stretched out by the former wearer for the waistband because the length itself barely shrunk. So you can see that this has been washed before, and because of that, a lot of the shrinkage has already been taken out of the fabric. Next up is the standard Levi's. So the waist itself shrunk quite a bit, full size. Whenever you are looking at denim like this, where it's so blue, it hasn't gone through a lot of the distressing washing that you typically find for a lot of other denim that might shrink it up already a little bit. And last, we have the Selvedge. This shrunk up the most at 4.68%. So if you are gonna buy a pair of Selvedge denim, or at least specifically these Selvedge denim, you have to be very careful of how you take care of these. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start disassembling the Costco. We are gonna try punching out the rivet. It might not work, but let's give it a try. No, the copper's too soft. It just remolded it to a new shape. Let's just pretend that didn't happen then. So starting with the Costco pair, we are gonna take this one leg apart. Yeah, so this paper patch obviously is not as durable as the leather patch is going to be. What is the historical significance of the paper patch? If you know in the comments, leave that down below. What does arthritis feel like?
I feel like you're in like a complete zen state right now.
No, I'm like, oh my God, my hands hurt. So there is one. What is gonna be very important for how denim fits is the curvature of the front and back rise. This is gonna be called the front rise and your back rise here. And how you choose to curve this and the length of this is really gonna be important for the positioning of the crotch. If you're gonna do a drop crotch, you would lengthen the front and back rise. You bring the crotch down. For a lot of women's wear, if you want a cinched back rise, you would do a more aggressive curve. That combination of how you handle this shape and how you handle the length is really going to determine how this pair of pants is going to fit around the crotch. Okay, that took forever. We have 4 denim to go through. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna at least take the patches off the next ones, but I'm gonna have the team disassemble the rest of the denim for us. So this is the secondhand pair. For a patch like this, to ensure consistency, what you would typically do is actually have a nominated supplier so that wherever you make these in the entire world, the main branding elements should be exactly the same at least. Sometimes larger brands might still actually let the factory source. And that's where you can run into inconsistencies. From what I'm seeing here, this is fairly consistent. So I would imagine that they probably are using a nominated trim supplier for these patches. Let's take a look at the Selvedge. Selvedge one is obviously gonna be different.
Is that real leather?
You can always light it on fire. So obviously the main difference between the other denim and the Selvedge is going to be the Selvedge edge. And I'm just going to open this up just so you guys can see. So this is the Selvedge. This is the self edge. This is what a lot of people believe makes Selvedge special. But as you can see, the construction technique to reveal that selvage edge unfortunately does make it a little bit less durable, at least from the seam construction standpoint. So I did take apart these selvage denim just because I want to show you the construction differences. However, I'm going to have the team take apart the rest of these.
Do you want to start on the...
No. Okay, we are back. Let's take a final look at all these Levi's 505 plus Costco variant. We did abrasion testing. Instead of using a wool abrasion, we actually did more cycles on the fabric itself, just to show you how it would interact, let's say, between your thighs when you're walking. And we did this for how many cycles?
10,000 with the heaviest weights we have.
And you'll see, compared to a knit, denim is a lot more durable for daily wear and tear against itself, which would be chafing between the legs again. This is the Costco variant. This is the pre-loved variant. You'll see here, it is starting to pill. Still very much intact, but as you can see, just by washing it, it is going to start damaging the fibers. Here we have the bog standard version. Other than a little surface fuzz, still looks very much exactly the same as brand new. And over here we have the Selvedge. Same situation for this. Denim, for the most part, is a super durable fabric. In fact, to actually cause distressing on denim, more often than not, they're using sandpaper. And to distress the bottom, a lot of factories are using Dremel tools, because that's just how durable this fabric is. But obviously that durability comes at the cost of stretch and comfort, which the Costco pair is trying to alleviate by having a little bit of elastane in there. Next, we're gonna take a look at the weight of all these. Normally we do GSM for weight, but more often than not, denim is measured in ounces. So here's the weight in ounces per square yard. The Costco variant came in at 12.56 ounces. The used denim came in at 11.47, which just shows you how over time washing this, it is going to shed some of its weight. The bog standard version came in at 14.1 and the Selvedge came in at 11.18. So on the lighter side. So now let's get into the ratings. We're not going to review these used ones because obviously it's gonna be a little bit of a crapshoot depending on the pair you get. What I would say for fabric is each one is gonna have its own characteristics that's gonna be suitable for the desires of the individual wearer. The pair from Costco has a little bit of stretch in it. The bog standard pair is gonna be a little stiffer. However, this did bleed off the most. The Selvedge is definitely the softest and I would say the most pliable out of all of the different variants. So for the Costco pair, I'm gonna give it a 8 out of 10. For the bog standard pair, we're gonna give this a 6.5 out of 10. For the Selvedge, I'm gonna give it a 8.5 out of 10. Next up is workmanship. All of these were pretty solidly made. The Selvedge had a little bit more attention to detail. You could tell the tooling that they used to make the buttons were crisper, the seam detailing, everything was just a little bit more special on that. However, these were also very well made. So I'm gonna give the Costco variant an 8 out of 10. I'm gonna give the standard variant a 8 out of 10, and I'm gonna give the Selvedge a 9 out of 10. As for the design, the Levi 505 is over 50 years old. The 514 is basically a 501 without a button fly. They've been here forever, and that's because the design just works really well. I'm gonna give all of these a 10 out of 10. When we look at the Costco variant, it was $28 US, which is $8 more than the Goodfellas denim that we reviewed. This is significantly better for $8. Value, I'm gonna give this a solid 9 out of 10. Even though we're not gonna give a rating to the official secondhand, what I would say is at $36, I think it's still a solid option if you want something that's a little more vintage, a little more worn in look. However, I can almost bet you can probably find a cheaper pair at any thrift shop. For the standard retail pair, it was $69 US, which is more than double the Costco variant. However, it's still a solid choice. You might be able to find this discounted somewhere because it's one of their most iconic designs. So I'm gonna give value here a 7 out of 10. For the Selvedge pair, at $100 more, I still think is a pretty good deal for a pair of Selvedge denim. Selvedge denim can get into the thousands. You can tell that there is additional attention to details. It's not just a regular pair of denim with the same workmanship, the same trims, just with the Selvedge fabric. For that, I'm still gonna give it a 8 out of 10 for the fact that it is a more specialty item. For those who care about the nuances in their clothing, I think it's an interesting option. I think when we look at all the different variants here, they're clearly trying to check off a box for each and every single customer base that they could have. You're going to have somebody that wants a pair of Levi's that maybe doesn't even know what Selvedge denim is. And for them, the Costco variant is a great option at that price point. I think what the second-hand pair offers is for those people who are maybe wanting that more vintage worn-in look, who maybe aren't that comfortable thrift shopping yet, this provides a level of customer service. And for those people, I think this is a great option. You're gonna have people that want a more structured denim that don't want any stretch and don't want to spend the money on a pair of Selvedge, and this could be a great option for them. And obviously the Selvedge is you're gonna have people that are denim heads that are very much into the details, and that checks off the box for what it's offering. What box are you in? That's gonna be entirely up for yourself. Levi's is Levi's. It's gotten the size it has because it's focused on product. And obviously over the years, it's done a lot of marketing and it's touched a lot of people's lives. I think everybody probably has had one pair of Levi's in their life. It just goes to show you, if you make something that's very iconic, you make something that lasts, you can build a strong brand on it that will last the test of time. That's it for this episode. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, follow us on socials, and let us know what other brands or products you want us to take a look at. Until next time.